Okay, so what we're looking at right now, this is a bathroom fan that's basically venting into a sloped ceiling. The attic above us is not, you can't access it. There's a slope here, so we've got to get this bathroom fan to vent out through the roof. Right now, I mean, I took the cover off, and I pulled out the fan mechanism that screws out. It comes right out with these fans. They are modular like that. It's a good unit, but in order to get this to vent, because I won't have access to it from above like you normally would with a bathroom fan, I'm going to remove the fan from the ceiling, drill a hole up through the roof so I know where to go, cut the fan, the access point for the vent cap in the roof, go up, cut the vent cap access in, hook up the fan from down here, and then put it back up. So let's see if it wants to come out right now. Okay. I got some slack. Now what I'm going to do, drill a hole up through the roof and get this thing hooked up. So we'll come back and show this in just a minute. So the vent has been cut in from the roof. Here's the fan still dangling. And before you ever hook these bathroom fan vent caps up, this is the damper on the roof. Always flip it a couple times and make sure that it's actually functioning right. If you hook everything up and you find out that thing's somehow jammed shut from the mesh on the outside, you're going back up on the roof to fix that. All right, so first thing is you've got to get the duct connector screwed into the underside. Now the circular duct connectors that go into these bathroom fan vent caps, sometimes they're tricky to get up in there. You have absolutely got to confirm that it's installed correctly, and you know that it's installed correctly if you can rotate it 360 degrees and spin it. If you can't spin it like that, it means it's jammed. It'll feel like it's in, but it's not all the way in, and it can pop out when you're not expecting it. No one's ever going to know that that happened until your roof rots. So give it a twist once it's in. Next thing, usually we use insulated duct hose. We're going to use regular duct hose in this case because we're going to be dense packing this slope bay with cellulose insulation, so it's going to be enveloped in insulation. This is a 4-inch diameter duct hose, and we're going to be using it to attach to a 3-inch diameter exhaust port. So for anybody that's ever used these Brown bathroom fan kits and ever wondered what that piece of foam was that came in there, what it's for is for these older fans, and you go around, take the sticker cover off, and you go around this thing like that, and that allows you to now go over that with a 4-inch diameter duct hose. So before we do that, we're going to get this thing installed up onto there, get it taped on real good. I like to put this stuff on with a good couple of wraps of metallic HVAC tape. This stuff is, metal HVAC tape is very durable. It's, do not use duct tape with fiber in it, because the fiber over time, after it's exposed to heat for a couple years, the duct tape gives out and basically disintegrates. The foil tape will not do that. And this is going to be a tricky part of this. I'm going to have to get this back up in there. I'm not going to need all of this, so I'm going to cut at least part of this off right now. I'm actually going to push this all the way down there first so that it's out of my way when I'm trying to get this on. So I've got the hose connected to the actual connector that's attached to the vent cap in the roof. And what I'm doing now is using metallic HVAC tape to connect it. Now in the box that it comes with, they give you some little plastic ties that you can use, but I'm not a big fan of those because the plastic ties, the zip ties that it comes with, don't really attach. Zip ties are only good, in my opinion, when you can tie them onto something that's super firm that doesn't give. And the duct connector that you have to screw into the underside has some give to it. It's a little bit pliable. So no matter how tight you think you've gotten the zip tie on it, you can usually pull it right off. And that is the opposite of what you want to have happen. Because if some part of this becomes disconnected at some point and moisture starts spewing into this cavity, nobody's gonna know until there's a soft spot in the roof or a void in the roof that somebody can see from the backyard. So I like to put a good 2 passes on this thing, metal tape, and then once, you know, you think you're good, you test it. You know, you tape all 4 sides, or all the, 360 degrees all the way around it, and I can do that because I can spin it all the way around. Now, how do you make sure it's on good? Try to pull it off. You know, I'm tugging on it pretty good right now, and it's not going anywhere. So now, I'm gonna bring the hose out. And that's the air channel that's going to take the bath exhaust, all the moisture with it, right to the outside. Get this hooked on next. So, I just got the exhaust hose really taped on here well. Now, if you're doing this, the critical thing is to make sure this thing's never going to come off. And this old fan housing was super dusty and dirty. And if you put tape on something that's dusty and dirty, it's not gonna stick that well. It's probably gonna come off and nothing good's gonna happen. So we just use a little bit of fiberglass, and the fiberglass is fairly abrasive and just does a tremendous job cleaning the dust off. So I rub this thing down with a piece of fiberglass batting. Now the tape's on there super sticky. This isn't coming off, it's attached well here, attached well to the duct cap in the roof. And you might not be able to see this, but there's a little damper up in there, and I'm just confirming that that will still move up and down, because you don't want that thing to be somehow locked in place and not realize it, and at that point the fan won't be able to push air to the outside. So I know that the damper right where the fan housing is working, that the damper on the duct cap on the roof is working. Now what I'm going to do is start to get this thing resituated back up into the ceiling here, and we'll show you the next step here. So the fan housing is cooperating, it's going back up and in. I'm just gonna continue to push it up. Now it's back into the ceiling. The next step is to reattach it in place. Okay. I'm going to pull that damper out inside the fan because I can tell it's going to have, it's not going to work if I leave it in place. Big part of doing this work is always testing that what you want to have happen is going to actually happen. Fan is now reattached in the ceiling. Get this guy into place with the wiring, and we'll now we're going to seal it, but before I seal the perimeter, so that I'm going to make sure that the electric still functions the way that it's supposed to. The fan is off. If everything's still working the way it should, this will start turning. Oop, wrong switch. Electric connection's still good. The reason that you test this, the reason that I tested that is because sometimes when you're jostling these types of appliances around, whether they're fans or lights, the jostling can disconnect a wire nut, or something can jigger itself loose if it wasn't installed right. You just don't know who it was in the past that put the stuff together. So you just want to test it one thing at a time as you're putting it back, so that you know it's going to work, and you don't go to all the effort and get everything back and go to flip the switch and find out that it doesn't work, and then you got to take it apart again, which is annoying. Now that the fan's in, we know that the electric connection is good. We know that the flex hose is good. I'm just going to squirt just a little bit of foam up into here so that we air seal around the perimeter of this, because we don't want any moist air to get up into the space above, because that can lead to mold growth on the underside of the roof, which we don't want. So it's at this point, I've got foam in this gap here. That's going to keep water vapor and air from inside the bathroom from leaking up around the actual fan housing. Now, in a normal attic, we would just air seal around the perimeter of this from above, but we can't here because the roof is about 7 or 8 inches away from the drywall. And get this guy back up into position, plug it in, make sure that it works. So you can see that now we got the cover up and on, fan's working good, blowing everything to the outside, not risking causing a mold problem in the attic. Turns on, operates well. Please hit like if you found this useful, and also hit subscribe. That helps us out. Thank you very much.